Hey,
great.
real quick. Okay.
Yep. Oh, okay. So
All
yes,
right,
that's a
cool.
good look.
Sure.
Did you plan it this way?
Sort of. On days like today, I'm really all about color. It's usually start with black as a base and then some colors to pop on top of it. I've got some crazy sleeves that I ran with this morning. I can show them to you if you like.
Yeah, go ahead. Show them to me.
They're right here.
Let's see them.
Trail runners, we
I
love our
have
color.
boring sleeves, so yeah.
Ready?
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Look
same
at
thing.
you. You were like the
Yeah,
tie-dye
I love
hippie
you.
king, man.
Kind
Oh,
of, sort of. These are kind of like a little splatter thing, like
those are
more like a
very
Jackson
you.
Pollock. Thank you, thank
I
you.
mean, what little I know about you, but yeah, that is.
Well, one thing
Anyway.
I've learned, Donna, in the
Mm,
trail running community is that people love color.
you
And,
do.
yeah. And, I think we bless each other with our colors.
Yes.
Someone said something one time, like in Africa, like one of the reasons they dress up in all these colors is they bless their community. It's the colors are not for you. It's to beautify your environment. I
Oh,
kind of
that's
like that.
good. I like that.
That's a
I
good one.
know.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed because I have these really cool paisley gators. They're kind of like pink and blue, and they're really cool, but I can't find one of them. I know
Oh no.
it
Well, you
really
gotta go.
sucks. And I mean, I so seldom really need gators, unless I'm out at Seven Isle Ranch. Have you ever run out there?
I have not.
Ugh, just be
But
glad.
who in the 80s needed leg warmers? Okay. But we wore them
Yeah, I
anyway,
remember
right? I
that. I
didn't.
remember that. I was doing aerobics like jazzercise.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, I know. I'm old. But anyway, yeah, no, I agree with you
Yeah.
about the colors because I mean, I think it's funny because the gym I've been going to, or the studio, I guess is what they call it. Everybody is like, I find myself needing to wear black a lot,
Mhm.
um, and like stuff without
Why is that?
logos, or
Yeah.
like I can't wear my race shirts stuff like that unless I want to look
Why
like
not?
I don't. Well, I don't. I mean, because everybody else is like in these. I mean, they can wear colors, but they're not. They don't have all the advertising and all that crap all
Uh-huh.
over. And so I'll just save those for running. But I've been having to.
So,
Mm.
oh, I was just going to tell you that I run for a team called IAP, and I
Oh,
wear
I
my
saw
IAP
that.
shirts
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah, and then also Huarachi Turbo, which is like a sister. So this is Huarachi Turbo.
Ooh.
So Jose and
Does that
Ceci
have something to
Iniguez.
do with the Tarahumara?
Tarahumara,
Hmm?
sort of. I mean, the
I like the
Tarahumara
way
run,
you
like kind
finessed
of,
that word better than I
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, Born to Run kind of introduced a lot of us that were unaware
Yeah.
of the
I've seen those
Tarahumara.
people
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, they came out and did a race in San Antonio and had for the awards, they had their little gourds that they run with,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
water bottles. That was the awards. That was kind of cool. But no, the Huarachi Turbo is like a division of IAP. I
Okay.
guess that's one way to say it.
Okay.
Jose Iniguez started IAP a number of years ago, and his sister Stacey, they were both top-notch runners. They both put themselves through school here in the United States, UTSA specifically,
Hmm.
on running scholarships. And Ceci does the Warachi Turbo. They do the races like the Loteria Run. They're dress up races. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, lots of fun stuff. Loteria Run, Frida's Run,
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, just for people who don't know what we're talking about regarding the Tarahumara, I think I'm saying it right. And
Tarahumara.
thank you. Yeah.
Close enough.
And I read, I know, and I can sort of speak Spanish, so I mean, I don't know why I can't say that word, but it's more of an indigenous word. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, most people who get into trail running or ultra running or running in general, have read this great book by, oh, what is his name? Chris. I can't think of it offhand.
I can't Google it right
Hang
here.
on, I'm gonna
But
go
my
look. I'm gonna
tablet's
go
across the
look. I
room.
have it on my
Go
shelf.
ahead.
Wait, wait.
No, while you're looking for that, I was going to tell you there's a couple of other races that Ceci does that are a whole lot of fun. There's the La Llorona, which is kind of like a Mexican folklore story, the woman who cries and has lost her babies. Do a really cool one for Valentine's Day. Um, but these dress up races, people wear a costume. Like for the Loteria run, they dress up like cards. There it is, Christopher McDougal.
Christopher McDougal. Yeah, see, I was
Yeah,
close. I
yeah,
was
it's good.
close. Anyway,
Yeah,
this
that's
is the book.
close.
Anyway,
You got
I'm
the Chris
sorry.
part right. Yeah.
what I'm using for a bookmark, but anyway, yeah, everybody, yeah, most people, I mean, I know it's like a gateway drug or something, people start reading this and they're like, oh my God, this is amazing, all these people, and yeah, but this indigenous group of people in the Copper Canyon of Mexico, um, women run in dresses, and then they run in don't they run in Huaraches?
It's like a huarache. The ones that I've seen look more like a sandal. They're kind
Okay.
of in between huarache and the sandal.
Yeah, because I've seen some people at ultras that try to, run in those sandals, and I'm just like, oh, like out of Colorado Bend. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but that it's just like I call
No,
it
but I
the
want to
naked
go out there.
driveway.
I'm hoping
What's
to go out there for Tinajas.
Yes, I'm gonna be there for the 10K. Woohoo!
Yeah, right on, right on.
Yeah, yeah. But
Hopefully.
anyway, this tribe of people, they don't want to be photographed. But they run in their native gear, but they're
Hmm.
fast and
Super
amazing.
fast.
And I
Endurance
think
too. Long distances.
yeah, I mean, as I recall, Rob Goyen from Trot, the former,
Hmm.
dude in charge of Trot,
Hmm.
he does a lot of fundraising for them, and I think he brought some of them to the US. Ugh, I'm probably
I
making
think that race I was telling you about was a trot race.
yeah,
When they had those
yeah,
awards that were their gourds and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, I just think it's interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, this is me, bright, shiny object. Woo, I'll talk about that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
there's a squirrel
Woo.
behind you right there. There it goes.
Yeah,
Squirrel.
I know. I'm surprised my cats aren't around. So yeah, they'll probably come over and do something and embarrass me
Are they
shortly.
hams? Yeah.
I'm
Do
sorry.
they ham it up? Are they hams? Do they bomb the camera?
I got one that likes to walk in front of my computer a lot. He's kind of fuzzy. His name is Hazel. We thought he was a girl, okay? And even my vet. And then he'll be 8 this year. But when I took him in to be fixed, he was going in looking for lady parts, and it's like, uh-oh. It's so
Now hold on a second. Okay, time out. So reptiles are a little harder to sex. You can't really tell unless you get
yeah, yeah,
inside the
yeah, I can believe
cloaca.
that.
But felines, they
Yeah,
got
but
a
she
listen and
said,
they got lady parts.
I know, but here's the thing. It's like, my neighbors and I share a feral cat colony that, we take to get spayed and neutered. And we actually had one. Well, anyway, just getting back to my vet at the time, she said that this happens to every vet once in their career where they get fooled.
But
And I can
yeah,
tell you that we had a cat that I got fixed, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago. I called this cat Wheeler because I thought it was a boy. Um, this was about 4 years
I'm
ago.
seeing a pattern here, Donna.
I'm sorry.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
I know. I'm a little woohoo. I know. This is okay. Hang with me. Hang with me. It'll all come back full
I'm with
circle.
you.
Don't
I'm
worry.
with you.
Anyway, no, but Wheeler was sitting in the wheel of my car when she was a kitten with a couple of siblings, and I could not get Kitty out, and I needed to go somewhere, and I didn't know how to get him out, and anyway, finally the mom came around, it's time to eat, and so the kids all like, yeah, let's go see mom. Well, we took Wheeler in to get fixed. Turns out he was a she and had just given birth to 4 kittens.
Oh
And
boy,
we had no idea that he was pregnant or she was pregnant. Anyway,
that is pretty bizarre.
this is my world. Yeah, welcome to my world.
Yeah,
I am the
I
weird
love
cat
it.
lady. Okay, I know you're probably like, oh God, here we
No,
go.
I love cats.
Been going
I
for a
do
while.
absolutely love cats. I've
Anyway,
I love all animals. I've been really gifted to run with a Vizsla. I don't know if you know what a Vizsla is. It's a really
no,
beautiful animal. They're a dog from Hungary, actually. So during World War II, the breed was almost lost,
yeah.
but a number of the domestics saved them because they're so good. They're just really good natured. They're super smart. They're good kids, and they're super fast.
Ooh.
So I'm excited about it. I have this kind of like it's not really a fantasy. It's something I really like to make happen. I'm gonna bring it to fruition. So was out for a little while in San Antonio, and when I came back, I really went. I was running one of the Ceci's races, one of the Horacio Turbo races. It was Dia de los Muertos, and I really wanted to win it. It's a 5K, so I ran second place to Bill Marsh, And the next race I ran second, and that happened for the next two races. And Bill told me, Timothy, the only way you're ever going to beat me is if you get a dog. He runs with a dog named Luna.
Interesting.
I love Luna. Not everybody loves Luna because she goes nuts in the starting corral. But I can see like the first day that I ran with Whiskey. Her name is Whiskey Davishla. She she pulled me toward the end. Like when she got ready to go to the house, like 5 minute, 15-second pace. Got the little thing that wraps around the waist. Like, yeah, I could see where there could definitely be an advantage. Until you get tangled up and fall down.
I was gonna say that poor dog would be so bored with me, but that's
She
so
just got
cool.
spayed. Yeah, she just got spayed last Monday, so she's on injured reserve right now. But
The
she'll be back
cone.
soon. Yeah,
Yeah. I know.
yeah, soon, soon, soon. But anyway, thank you for
Yeah.
letting me share
Anyway,
that. I'm super
well,
excited to have a training
yeah.
partner here in Kerrville.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess let me back up a little bit. So you are from Texas, correct?
I am. I'm originally from Odessa, Texas. Born and raised there. Moved to
It's like
Dallas when I
the
was about
Permian
20.
Basin.
It is the Permian Basin. It's right in the thick of it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Moved to
And the,
Dallas when I was about 20.
oh,
Then I
cool.
was stayed there about 15 years, and then I lived in San Antonio for the remainder until I moved out here to Kerrville.
Yeah. So why did you move to Kerrville?
So back in here we get dig go a little deeper dive. Back in October, I had a little bout with stimulants for 4 or 5 days,
Ooh.
and snapped out of it. Got myself into detox. Got myself into treatment at the Serenity House in Fredericksburg. And I had heard about the recovery community in Kerrville, um, but I thought I would give it a try. And the plan is kind of lined up. So I was able to relocate to Kerrville. And man, the community here is amazing. I live right on the river. I mean,
Oh,
pretty much
okay.
everything in Kerrville is on the river, but I am like right on the river. I can see the
Oh,
river out
yeah. No,
my,
I've been there. So yeah. So
yeah.
what was the thing with stimulants? How long was that experience, or how long were you dealing with that or doing that?
4 or 5 days. I can't really
Oh,
remember because I didn't sleep or eat or anything else during that time. And it was fun for probably a couple of days until it wasn't. I'd gotten into some depression. I wasn't running, I wasn't cycling, I wasn't doing much of anything other than just work and eating Bluebell and drinking ginger ale. And so I put on some weight too. You missed. I had a little basketball and some love handles, and those are gone
can't
now.
even imagine that.
I know. I tell people that, and they're like, "Yeah,
You're
right."
just like this
But
whippet of a guy. Yeah.
good genetics, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, good. Well, I'm glad that you found that. So what do you do for a living?
So I'm a horticulturist by trade, by degree. That's my training, my background. I was working for a company called The Ridge, which I was actually doing landscaping there here in Kerrville. And I'm now going to be moving to Goodwill, which I was supposed to go to Goodwill to begin with. That's what actually got me to transfer over here to Kerrville. I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. I was going to be going to work for Goodwill. Something happened in HR. Apparently, they didn't have me down as a leave of absence. They had me down as terminated. So after they told me, yeah, we'll probably start you on Thursday. This is on a Monday. I get the voicemail that afternoon that says, sorry, look for something else because you have to wait 6 months. So that's when I got the job at the Ridge. So I went ahead and did my due diligence, reached out to HR, and they said, oh, we're so sorry. Well, the next morning I have an email offering me a position. Of course, I already had the position at the Ridge, but I did reach out to the HR director, Cynthia Deaton, and said, thank you, no, I appreciate it. And she responded back and said, well, you always have a home here. The door's always open. So when, yeah, they blindsided me at the Ridge. I absolutely love that job, even though, landscaping is not a good a fit for me, say, as horticulturist.
Uh-huh.
Um, when the supervisor told me to sick us last Monday, said, your services would no longer be required. I'm like, what?
Oh,
I
shit.
thought I was the golden boy. I'd been referred to as the golden boy. Um, when I asked why, there was no response.
Hmm.
Like, well, it's just different stuff. Don't worry about it. I'm like, excuse me, don't worry about it. I was just terminated, right? But you're telling me not to worry about it. Well, it's just a lot of stuff. Well, could you name like maybe one thing? She couldn't name anything. So I called the owner later on that evening and asked him, and he said, Tim, you're a good. He calls me Tim. I hate it. He says
I
you're a
was going to
good
ask you what
guy.
you prefer to
Yeah,
be called. Okay, good.
I prefer Timothy, but it's an easy one to shorten. So and he's the owner. Anyway, he said, Tim, you're a really good guy, and you're a really good man. You're just not a good fit. And I said, well, moving forward, if I tell someone, that I'm no longer working at the Ridge, what should I tell them? What should I tell them the reason? He said, well, you can tell them that your inability to receive and process communication. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, whatever it is, I have to deal with that. I do have some issues, brain wiring issues that make it difficult to process multiple channels of language. Also makes me rather sound sensitive. I'm also very photosensitive.
Hmm.
So I call it a gift. Some people call it Asperger's. But I see it as a gift. So I have to kind of own that.
Well, you
Uh,
work with
yeah.
it. Yeah. So that's,
Yeah, and my work is solid. I'm a dependable worker. So I feel like on the one hand it was their loss, but I also feel like it's more of a release than a termination. So
yeah.
it
So,
wasn't a good fit.
so now you're going to be working for Goodwill then?
I should find out Monday for sure. But yeah, it's a done deal. I've already trained in that position.
And what would you be doing for them?
So production, which is in the back, with anything from taking donations in from the back to sorting them out to pricing them to taking them out to the floor. More than
Oh,
likely starting in the back. I love it.
that's so
So
cool. That sounds fun.
part of my practice here as a Buddhist practice, one of the folds of the eightfold path is a wise livelihood. So doing something that's good for us, good for the community, I think is a good thing. So I've always
Yeah.
and Goodwill's a great company to work for too. They really take care of their people
That's good
and they
to
have
know.
great insurance. Yeah.
And yeah, oh, that's
It's,
good. Yeah, because I prefer donating to them than I do, the alternative. So just
and there are some other alternatives out there.
yeah, well, mainly thinking of the big red, emblem one,
That
but
one. Yeah, that other one. Yep. Well, it's no mistake that that's the second. That other one with the big red one, that the ones that jingle the bell around Christmas time,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ones that will remain unnamed. Yeah. Second wealthiest organization in the world, second only to the Catholic Church
Oh my God, I
in
had no
term in terms
idea.
of yep, in terms of land and actual cash. Yeah. Number two in the world. That's a lot of dollars.
That is. Well, like I said, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Goodwill, and I like shopping at the. This is so dumb, but I'm kind of a thrifter. I like the secondhand stuff and whatnot,
I do too.
and yeah, but I like going to. I did this even when I lived in Florida. Like I'd go up to Palm Beach, or I'd go where all the rich people lived.
Hmm. What was that?
That was so
Yeah.
weird. This has
Oh,
happened to me a
nice.
couple of times. It's like if I stick my
Look,
thumb up,
balloons.
see if it'll do
Yeah.
it again.
It's
No,
some kind of cue, right?
I
So
don't
like on
know. It's
Android,
something
if I
in
put my hand
Zoom.
next to my face,
Oh my
in
God.
Android it will you can take a selfie by putting your hand next to your face.
No way. Well, I'm on a Mac, so
Interesting.
there you go. But
Okay.
that was weird. That's happened to me the last three times I've interviewed somebody on Zoom. It's like all of a sudden I get this random thing
So
showing up.
it
So,
shouldn't be shocking. Now it's like, yay, balloons.
well, I just wasn't sure
I
what
wonder if it's like
triggers
a
it.
I wonder if it's a key word, maybe. I don't know. You have to go back
Maybe.
and look at the tape, and look at some
Congratulations.
previous. Yeah, that's what it does. So
Didn't do anything.
on Facebook Messenger, you can put like keywords in there, and if you put the keyword in there, you get this little flurry of stuff that comes up. Like if you put the word
Oh.
"run" in, and then you can choose your emoji, little runners, little runner emojis.
Oh my
Uh,
God, that's hilarious. Anyway, sorry.
yeah,
So, well, my fingers are crossed for you about Goodwill. That sounds awesome. So
yeah.
let's talk about your running career. I did take a little peek at your ultra sign up stats.
Hmm.
You are a pretty fast fellow. I mean, not that I would have
Thank you.
ever doubted that, but
Yeah,
yeah, you've done some pretty fast 50Ks. I mean,
thank you.
so it's not like you
You probably
couldn't
saw the one,
do
the
it.
Big Bend. Yeah, the Big
Big
Bend
Bend,
Ultra.
and what
Yeah,
was the other? There seemed like there's one other one I saw.
Sky Island. That was a pretty
Yes,
fast one. Yeah, yeah.
that one's hard. I mean, well, they're all
Yeah,
hard.
it's a tough one. That's one of my favorite courses in all of Texas.
Never run
It's
that.
like baby heads and dragon's teeth, but it's just absolutely gorgeous. Yep, good
Very
stuff.
cool. Man, that's awesome. So, um, have you been a lifelong runner, or is this something that you've come to? And so my let me think. I'm doing the math. You're
Hmm.
59. Is that
I'm
correct?
59. Hmm.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was
Yep.
doing. You're the same age as my sister, so that's why I was like
Okay.
a couple years older. Anyway, and yeah, I was looking at your stats, and it's like, yeah, you can do the 5Ks, you can do the 50Ks. So have you always been a runner, though? I guess is what I'm trying.
No, I was a competitive athlete of sorts. So my dad was an attorney in Odessa. He was also a skier. In fact, he just barely missed the Olympics in '52.
Oh my
Out slipped
God.
on an ice cream cone when he was going to University of Boulder. So he and I skied on a team called what Equitable Family Ski Challenge, and a father-son team like that, and actually did pretty well. Went to the nationals one time and went to the regionals a few times. So people had always asked me, "Oh, you look like a runner." They tell me you look like a runner. I'm like, "No, I'm not a runner."
I
So
just look
in
like one.
2000, yeah, thank you. So in 2015, I went through a treatment program in San Antonio called IHRP. It was on the campus at Haven for Hope, and they had a program that was attached to that called Street to Feet. You may have heard of them.
Oh yes,
Street to
yes.
Feet, yeah. So their mission statement, I guess you say, or their motto, or whatever. It's a 5K training program for individuals who experience homelessness. So that's where I got my start. There, I was pick up trash. We'd have these little activities, like 3 days a week. We go out Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and we'd leave campus and we'd go run around this 1K track. So I'm in my Doc Martin Wellington steel toe boots, picking up trash for a 1K. So I was told there were some incentives. I think it was like a bus pass or something. I'm like, I think I may actually try to do a 5K. Oh, you'll get me some shoes too? So they got running shoes for us, like a little bit of running gear, like a top and some shorts. Yeah. I don't wear shorts, but I do wear tights.
I say,
So
yeah, I know. I
anyway,
always seem to remember you
yeah,
wearing tights. Yeah.
yeah, there's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. I mean, one, they transition really well. You can transition from running to cycling pretty easily. And
Uh,
yeah, I got some stuff on my legs that I don't really like to answer uncomfortable questions about. But
okay. I won't ask
but
you.
I'll answer them for you. No, you can.
Oh,
Yeah. So I ran my first 5K and actually hit podium on my first one out. I was second place in my age group. It was like I think it was Fit Pass. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now across the room. So the woman that one of the like the program coordinator, her name is Lana Hernandez. Her mother is married to Jose Iniguez, which is IAP.
okay.
So I graduated from street to feet to becoming an IAP runner. I still have my IAP training shirt. And Jose was a great runner. He was, nationally. He was a big deal. So he does coaching for free. They meet on Mondays and Wednesday nights and do speed work, and then we're doing like a long run gathering on Sundays. So that's when I really learned running. Um, Terms like negative splits I'd never heard of. I didn't know what a fartlek was. I thought I laughed, a little
We
titter,
all
like,
do.
"Oh, what? Oh, what?" And Jose, Coach Jose, he's like, it's still a pretty thick accent, and I'm like, "What did he just say?" No, but that's where I really kind of found my legs and my feet, if you will, as a runner. It was with IAP and started training and started moving the distances out. I think one of my second or third race, I thought it was going to be a 5K. It was one called the Dragon's Den here in San Antonio. Really, I mean, they're in San Antonio. Really
Is that a
challenging course out at Pearsall.
Pearsall? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like Pearsall. Yeah.
I do too.
So yeah, they usually start the race on the top of the hill.
Yep.
And yeah, so you're running downhill. Oh, this is great, but then you have to finish going uphill. So about 5 minutes before the race started, I was told that I was running the 10K. And I was like, no way. All this fear and all this other stuff kicks in. Well, anyway, I learned a new term in that race, the top master male. So I took third, and then like a few
Isn't it
minutes later, someone
fun?
said, "Yeah, someone said you're the top master male." I'm like, "What does that mean? Is
Yeah.
that for old people or what?" So yeah, that was so
Master.
that's how I learned some of the new terms and how I really became a runner was with IAP. And my heart will always be IAP blood. I've never run a single race if I wasn't wearing an IAP shirt, and
Good to know.
always have, always will.
If I don't,
A
I'll
lot of
let you
people.
know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let me back up just for a quick second. So you said that you were doing this thing street to feet
hmm
through Haven for Hope. Is that correct?
hmm Yeah,
So
they
were
would
you,
come on campus.
so were you were you homeless then at that point, or am I don't want to infer
So
too much.
no, 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 not at all. I mean, this is an interview, and I want to be completely. Feel free to
I'm
ask
just,
any
I'm
question you
trying to
like.
make sure I
Yes.
understand.
So
Yeah.
this program, the in-house recovery program, one of the requirements is you have to be homeless or soon to be homeless. That's one of the requirements to get in this treatment program. Yeah. I had picked up stimulants once again back in 2015 and pretty much lost everything. I think I still had a car. That was about it. I was living in my car. So yeah, I qualified for the homeless thing.
Yeah.
So mhm.
Wow. So has the stimulants thing been something that's been part of your life for a long time, or is it just something that evolved like, in the last,
I would
8 years?
say in my no, excuse me. I would say in my 20s was the first time, let's call it what it is, cocaine. That was my drug
Oh,
of
okay.
choice. Yeah, you're
Never tried
smiling.
it, but I've heard.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Yeah, it works as advertised.
I'd
That's
be
why it's so
afraid.
addictive. Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid. It's highly addictive. So my 20s was the first time, managed it for a while, and that was just like, snorting it. And then when I lived in Dallas, I'm a little distracted. I have a lizard in my room. He's a resident here. He was here before I
Is
was,
he
so
is he
forgive
a
me for
big
being here.
lizard or a little lizard?
He's a rock lizard. He's about, I don't know, about that
Oh,
long.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes.
So back to business. Back to my history with stimulants, specifically cocaine. Managed the snorting for a period of time. Then there was a time in the around 84 I was introduced to injecting, and that was really, really a mess, and it got really, really dark for a while. Got away from that, didn't use anything for I don't know
So you were
a dozen
injecting
years.
cocaine or what?
Yes,
Okay.
cocaine, yeah,
Sorry.
injecting cocaine. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm such an idiot about this stuff. So
yeah. Sorry.
it's okay.
So no use for I think close to 13 years,
Good.
and then when I moved to San Antonio, I was going to get married. Didn't work out. Um, she jilted, whatever you want to call it, got cold feet, and I went into
Oh,
depression for about 6 months. Then I met a young lady who introduced me to crack cocaine,
oh
and I
God.
was off to the races. Yeah, that was 2015. That's how I ended up in IHRP. Yeah,
Wow.
definitely a horse of a different color. Yeah.
So I guess
So
that relationship did not last or anything.
no, it didn't. Well, it did not last. I see her occasionally, and like, hey, how you doing? Yeah,
Is
but
she still
yeah, that was
using?
yeah. I don't think she ever quit. I don't think she ever tried to do anything like treatment or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the last go around, so I had two different times there. So I got into treatment, and then I was only maybe 6 or 8 weeks. After I finished treatment, and then I went back again for a short period of time, and then I stayed clean for like 4 years until this last go around, which was back in October.
Ooh.
So yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah.
a bit of a history.
Well,
Well,
no,
here's the thing, Donna.
but it's
As long as you
important.
stay spiritually fit, as long as you stay connected, whatever that means. I mean, some people do the 12 steps. I did a program called Refuge Recovery, which is a Buddhist approach to recovery from addiction, which worked really well. But if you don't take the medicine, it stops working. And by taking the
Mm,
medicine, I mean doing the practice. And it's easy to get off track. Um, I
yeah.
had a job that I really absolutely loved out in a place called Spiral Dance. We were doing teepee ceremonies and sweat lodges. And I
Mm,
was really connected to the land, having an orchard and a garden that I was taking care of. And some things changed with staff out there. There was a lot of ego and a lot of silliness happening. So I went back to San Antonio, and I was just like, just being pulled from being really close to the land like that and being really close to the medicine community. I just kind of like for 10 months just got what we call white knuckle. Just kind of
mm,
struggled through it, and
mhm.
then ran into a girl from my past, and then I was off to the races again for 4 or 5 days.
Ugh,
So,
those
so.
girls.
Well,
Uh,
it's not the girl's fault, I don't think.
no, I
It's
know. I
just
was
yeah,
just joking
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
But it
hard.
was
I mean,
funny because there was a time a few months before that when I was like, man, this I'm really struggling, and I had decided that I was going to use. but I didn't know where to find any without going out and just, going on the street corner or whatever, because I'd been out of it for so long.
Hmm.
So when this girl showed up from my past when I was like really, really struggling, I was like, ah, is this from the devil? No, we all make our own choices.
Right. No,
That was
but
another reason that I chose to relocate to Kerrville, because that girl's still there. All those people I hadn't seen for years. Now I was back in touch with them again, so I was like, that's just too easy.
yeah. Well, Kerrville strikes me as I mean, I've only been there for any length of time, like back in maybe 2010, maybe.
Mhm.
I took a group of students to a conference, and which is a terrible place for students, honestly, because it seems like the sidewalks roll up at 8 p.m. But
They
uh,
do sometimes 7. Yeah.
yeah, and we were in a hotel that was across the street. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like one of the big hotels. It's like right off of I-10, and it's
The
yeah,
YO,
the what?
the YO.
Might be. Anyway, nothing going on, and guess what? We're across the street from a liquor
Mm.
store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you can only imagine the debauchery going on. Anyway, but sorry, that was that's been
I've
my
got a good
experience with.
imagination.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there watching my students, play beer pong and stuff, and kind of going, okay, nobody post on social media, and I mean, what do
Please.
you do? I mean, they were of age, so I mean, it wasn't like I was watching a bunch of 14-year-olds do stuff.
Right.
It's just like, oh my God. But that's only my only experience, unfortunately, with Kerrville.
It's
But that sounds
Kerrville
like
is
a good place for you to be, in
it
terms of,
is.
yeah, staying away from
It
all that.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, seriously though, I mean, I can't put too fine a point on spiritual condition.
Mm,
I'm working the 12 steps now. I have an amazing sponsor.
good.
Staying connected to the community, taking the medicine as it were. And I feel like as long as I do that, I'll always be able to stay healthy. It's when I get off track, and it starts off, getting off track for me is like something that starts off slow. So there's a practice that I go through every day. It starts in the morning with prayers. I guess part of it is going to meetings. Part of it is helping other alcoholics and addicts, by sponsoring. But all of those work together. And in times past, I was doing those things not as seriously as I am now. But getting off track happens slowly. Like the one thing we do at nighttime is called a nightly inventory. You
Mm,
basically go through the day and, like, did you make somebody upset? Did somebody need an apology? Or something you kept to yourself that you should have shared with someone? Those kind of things. Those are usually one of the first things that go for most people. It was for me too.
mhm.
And then, you know what? I don't really need to go to meetings now. I'm cured. I'm healthy now. So all the
Good.
things that brought us, I'm saying, as a figure of, as what gets people off track
Oh,
is
I
like,
get
you're going
it.
to meetings, you got a spiritual practice,
Yeah.
you're involved in the community, and then slowly you think, well, I don't really need that anymore because I'm well, I'm
I'm
cured
fine.
now. So
Yeah.
you stop going to meetings, maybe you stop sponsoring people. It's what we call working the steps backwards. So
Mm,
yeah, I'm confident that living here in Kerrville and staying connected with this community, that I'm gonna
that's
get
great.
this thing for long term. Yeah, I've never really applied myself as far as with the 12 steps. I
Mm,
was always kind of rebellious. Some of it didn't make sense to me. And
mhm.
after I've learned how to just kind of let go and not try to like pick it apart and try to really understand it and just kind of embrace the spiritual aspect of it, uh, it does really work. It's a little cliche. It works if you work it in
Oh,
the
I mean,
community.
it makes
It
perfect sense. So yeah.
does. I used to hate that phrase. Works if you work it. It's true.
Mm, but so how did running play a role in your recovery, or has it, played a role in your recovery?
A huge role in my recovery, a huge role in my recovery, but it was also something that became another form of addiction.
Yeah.
So hitting the podium on my first time out, and then graduating to or stepping up to 15K, and then half marathons, and then to 50Ks, and then when I found trail running and found the community of trail running, I was like, this is it. This is my stuff right here. So
Hmm.
the unhealthy part of it came for me. There was a season where I won more races than I placed in. So it's, when I say I won, I mean I won my age group. And these
That's
are, a
cool
variety
though.
of races. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but then I got into the whole Facebook posting and everything, and I got kind of addicted to that to the point where I was thinking about the Facebook post while I was racing, like, and then if I
The
didn't hit
ego,
podium,
yeah.
I didn't have something really cool to either post about or talk to people about in the gym. I'm getting ready for this race, or I just did this race. I felt like I was less than.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I've kind of gotten away from that now. Haven't been doing a lot of racing, but I do love connecting with the trail community. But to
As
your
you,
question, how has that played a role? Um, I've gone through stages. First of all, it gave me something to kind of deal with some of the trauma that's stored in my body, just to kind of an outlet, a release. I have a lot of energy. I'm up most mornings at 4:30 in the morning, and most nights 11 or 12 o'clock to bed. So I don't get a whole lot of sleep, and I have tons of energy, and I get a lot of stuff done. All that being said, running really helps. It really helps kind of work some of that nervous energy off, if you will.
Mhm.
But it's been a process of learning how to kind of focus that in a positive way instead of just go until I drop, to actually rest, and
Mhm.
recover, and take breaks. Um, which I still have this like natural tendency to just go, but I'm kind of
Probably the
tempering it.
addictive part. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think some of that comes from, I think people, this is my theory. Certain people are attracted to stimulants, certain people are attracted to, say, opioids. And I think it's how our brains are wired to begin with,
Yeah.
So yeah, but that does help. But it has played a huge role. I think the community of running has been as beneficial to my recovery as anything else. Because the times when I've had relapses, people always welcome me back with open arms. There's a tremendous amount of love in the run community. Not so much in the recovery community. If you go out for a period of time, go out means you go back again. They're like,
Oh,
oh, you're back. You're going to try again this time. Like people
ugh,
that have 3 months longer in
they don't
recovery than
believe
you do.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, well, their chips are different color than yours is.
Oh,
So they're
you do
they're gonna
chips. Oh,
look
yeah.
down their nose at you. Yeah, we do the chip thing. But yeah, the recovery community is one thing, but the running community has always shown tremendous amount of compassion and always there to support me and cheer me on. You know,
That's great.
so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I've talked to a number of people who are, recovering addicts of some sort. And yeah, and a lot of them have become ultra runners.
Hmm.
Very few have,
Rich roll.
God, there it goes again.
Yeah, yeah. It was some kind of hand motion. It gave you a thumbs up on that though. It was
I feel
cool.
so weird.
You
It's
have to
like,
you have to
oh,
go into your
I'm like
set.
trying
Now
to
I'm
have
going
a
to go into my
serious
settings.
conversation.
Yeah. Uh,
No, but I think sometimes, I mean, you're one of the people I think that I've talked, or a handful of people I've talked to that admit that this is, that at times it could have been trading. I'll stop talking with my hands. Trading one one addiction for another, because I can see
yeah.
that would be very easy to do, because
Well,
it's
it
like
seems healthy,
it
Oh, I'm
does,
running and I'm
yes.
fit, yeah, it seems like it's really healthy. And it can be,
But
it
you can
just has
also
to
get
like kind
injured, and yeah, and it's just, yeah. I
of
mean, but I
overtraining
mean,
is a
yeah, I mean, there's like I think of a Catcher Corbett. Have you heard of
mhm.
her?
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Dirt
I've
Diva
seen her out at
333.
what's that?
Dirt Diva 333. That's her Instagram tag. That's what she goes
Uh,
by. Dirt Diva. That's her trail name. Yeah.
I saw her out at
Yeah.
Brazos Bend, I don't know, a few years ago, and yeah, she's just inspirational to watch, but
She's got a story. Yeah.
she does. She's got a
She's
very,
wired to be wired too, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that. But anyway, where am I going with my thoughts? And so
Admitting that it's another addiction.
yeah, and but it sounds like you've kind of got it in check, that you're not like doing a race every weekend or something like that.
Well, I can at least see it because I remember like in recovery, like if I'd go out for a time and I'd come back and then I'm like, want to race, I want to go, go, go. And people were like, Timothy, slow down. I didn't see it. I couldn't see it. It took my community to show me that blind spot that I was just, addicted to this other thing. And now finding, the real joy of really getting into the community and getting into recovery, and then also really learning how to honor my body.
Mm.
it's a temple for the Holy Spirit, and I truly believe that. So learning that, and then just try to put aside some of those natural tendencies to just go. The tendency's still there. I mean, today I want to go do a long ride on my bike. It's just,
You're
it's
like,
what I
yeah,
do.
let's do it. Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
more is not always better, and I'm learning the value of resting and taking time off and just kicking back and reading. I've got some great stuff to read. So
good. And just
for
sort of
that,
being,
yeah.
I think that's what, I mean, even runners who are not addicts as such, that sometimes like being injured or something is just sort of like
Hmm.
this purgatory, that you're just,
Hmm.
I can remember times being injured and I would just like go out and ride my bike with at the same
Hmm.
time with my friends on the trail because I just felt so left out, and it's yeah, I don't know I don't really know where I was going with that idea, but anyway,
Well,
that's
I think I know, and I'd like to say something about that. When I'm feeling like I'm antsy, I
fancy.
want to get out of my skin. Yeah, a run always helps. I mean, it always makes me feel better. But I've learned that if I'm using that as a way to feel different instead of just sitting with my feelings, and trying to explore maybe why do I feel that way? Why do I want to crawl out of my skin? What's happening in my body, what's happening in my brain that I'm not comfortable in my own skin? And learning how to examine those things have been really beneficial too. Part of that is Native American practice, sitting in the teepee. Also, part of that is a Buddhist practice, just learning how to sit and be mindful and sit with my thoughts, as opposed to like wanting to feel different. I wanting to stay busy to not think about
Distracting
something.
myself. Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's go back just a bit of a ways. So where do you think this addiction thing came from? What, because I know you mentioned trauma. Was there something growing up um that you were, those feelings you were trying to stuff or something, or or is it, genetic, do you think? Or, what do you
I think it's a combination, but I'll respond to the first part first. Did
sure.
something happen? So I was really close to my mom. So she homeschooled me, taught me how to read before kindergarten. Parents were divorced when I was 6. Um, and then I was no longer, at the same time my parents were divorced, I was no longer the baby in the family. Now there's another baby.
Mm.
So now I have a new step monster. She was, yeah, enough said about step monster. And then I wasn't the baby anymore. So that was a pivotal point in my life. And I've
Were
done
there
a
other
lot
kids
of work.
before you?
Yeah, so that's kind of a long story. So there's extended family, and so my natural family, I have 2 sisters and 1 brother. And then before that, my dad was married to another woman. He had another son, and my mother was married 2 times previously and had a sister and a brother. I have a
Okay.
sister and a brother. And then there
Generation.
are numerous
Yeah.
that I probably don't know about. My dad was quite the philanderer. So I have another sister who was born the same time as my sister, who's became the baby of the family. She was actually, yeah, she was actually my dad's secretary's baby. So, so that's a good segue to, like, is this um, the environment that I grew up in? There was a lot of partying. There was my dad was kind of a big shot attorney and like big fish in a small pond in Odessa. So lots of parties, lots of alcohol. I never saw any drugs, but I found out later on that that was pretty prevalent, that my dad was involved in some things. So is it genetic? I don't know. I mean, that's the big, $64,000 question. You saw the movie Trading Places, right?
Yeah.
Is it nurture? Is it nature? Yeah, I mean, it's an old question. I think it's both. I think people can have a genetic propensity toward addiction, and if they're not in the environment, that gene never fires, so to speak. But you can also maybe not even necessarily have a genetic propensity to it, but if you're in an environment, something happens, trauma, whatever, you choose to go that way. I think a lot of the addicts that I see struggle, um, childhood trauma. Broken families are very common.
Yeah.
Um, mhm. And who doesn't have childhood trauma? I mean, who had a perfect childhood?
I know.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I think back on my childhood and it's just like, Yeah, I think my dad was incredibly uncomfortable with having two
Uh,
daughters, and I
mhm.
was the oldest and probably more like him, but we didn't get along that well, and so yeah,
Yeah.
I still suffer from some of that. Yeah, so I mean, I get it, I get it. Daddy issues.
Yeah, got that too. So I thought my dad hung the moon. I mean, I thought he was the coolest thing ever, you know. He passed away when I was 17. He died
Oh,
from a,
man.
yeah, he had a massive brain hemorrhage. He had an aneurysm.
How old was
So
he?
48 years old.
Oh my
Mhm.
God, that's
Yeah,
really
too young, too young. And that was another factor. So before he died, like the year before he died, I lived in a 3 bedroom condo by myself, had a pool, Permian High School, Friday Night Lights, all of that. So there was my house was like the party pad. So that was I had to kind of hold up that reputation, you know. So I think that was also a factor with that led to ultimate addiction. You know,
yeah,
I thought I had a lot of friends, but it turns out I had a lot of fake friends.
yeah, or just people that were
Yep,
convenient. Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
yep. Mhm.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, that's it. I think you were asking the
I don't want
question.
to
You know,
beat
do you
it to
think it's
death.
genetic? No, no. You think it's genetic? Do you think it's something that happens? It's a combination of things. But
Yeah.
you know, Donna, ultimately we have to make a decision. We carry things from childhood because I carried that, you know, victim stance and that, you know, abandonment, rejection, like a giant rock forever.
Hmm.
And you know, some of the things that happen, I don't have a choice. You know, I didn't have a choice.
Right.
But choosing to carry them is a choice. So at
Hmm.
some point you have to, like, you know, jettison that cargo and
Let it
decide, you know,
go.
do you want to be free or do you want to stay in a victim stance? You know,
Right.
that's kind of yeah,
That makes a lot of
that's
sense.
been a slow process to really embrace that. I mean, it's easy to say it and it makes a lot of sense, but to really embrace that, you know, and not
Oh,
be a victim. You know?
right. No, it's yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I tried therapy for a little while last year and I just kind of,
Mhm.
well, I don't know. It just kind of felt like it was all over the place. And
Mhm.
in my previous attempts at therapy, it was a little bit more focused. And so I just kind of quit it. And I mean, I'm fine. I mean, I feel like I'm okay. That's what we all say, right? Um,
Right? I'm fine. Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, but I feel enlightened, I guess, if you will. Anyway, enough about me. So as far as the
It's
running
a
goes,
Yeah. It's a process though, Donna. It
yeah,
is a process.
no,
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
and it's just like we all have our crosses to bear and whatnot, and
Sure.
I feel very fortunate that my parents did love me, and that it was just like I just have sort of a not good enough sort of thing that
Mhm.
haunts over me, or like a little dark cloud, and it's yeah. Anyway,
That's what I get from my
talk about that
stepmother
some
with
other
the
time.
yeah. No, I think we all have that to some degree,
Yeah.
greater or lesser. But I that's what I got more than anything from my stepmother, that I was always going to be less than. You know, no matter how hard we tried, and we rodeoed and hated it. You know, got banged up a lot on a lot of bulls. You know, some pretty serious injuries, and you know, it's like
Dang.
no matter, yeah, yeah. That's I don't really consider myself a badass bull rider, but I can tell you that
Can't believe you even did that
never.
though.
I can't either. It wasn't by choice. I can tell you that.
Well, at least you don't really want to do that.
No, no. Now, of course, it's a lot different. Now they have a lot more safety equipment, things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's
but no, you know, always feeling less than, always feeling like I could never live up to expectations. But you know,
mhm.
you can look at the dark side of that and be a victim about it. But it's also one of the things that's given me the drive to really train and to really excel as a runner. You know, really wanting to be
And
improve
you
and be the best
have.
version of myself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You know, so there's a good side to that too. You know, it's like anything. You temper it. You know, you take what's, you know, work with your good stuff and acknowledge the stuff that you're still working on.
Well, looking ahead, what do you see yourself? Because you've gone the 50K distance. Do you see yourself?
Mhm.
I mean, I know a lot of times people are like, "Well, I got to do the 50 miler or the 100 miler, or the
Yeah,
is that even on your radar, or
it's
what are your goals?"
so I've run three, no, I think four road marathons,
Hmm.
and you know, half marathon is really my favorite distance on the road. I mean, just you know, pounding the asphalt, that's not really my jam. I love trails. You know, that's what I love. However, I do want to run Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost 60, so I mean, I
You
can
can
probably with just a
BQ,
little,
yeah.
yeah, it's 345. My
I'm sure
PR
you
is like 342. Yeah, so I would like to do that. I mean, it's expensive, but I would like to run Boston. Just the whole, it's Boston, right?
it's a
Yeah,
bucket
I
list
would like
thing.
to do
Yeah.
that. So as far as like 100K though, it hadn't really been on my radar. People was like, oh wait, now you got a few fifties under your belt. You got to like bump it up to 100. And I know people, I don't know if you know who Kenny Anderlich is, and see people that are just doing these crazy endurance runs, and like that's appealing to me, but I never really kind of made that jump to light speed. Well, at Bandera, I supported, it was actually my sponsor once upon a time, guy named Justin Blum, and he did 100K. And
Oh,
when I was really kind of like, really like top form, and like when probably my finest athletic performance at Big Ben, he was sponsoring me, and he was like, "Man, how do you do it? How do you get out there and train?" I think my response was something like, "Well, I love the training, so the results just kind of followed."
I love you.
But yeah,
I can't stand the
well, yeah,
training.
yeah, it's the training's not for everyone, but that was my medicine. I don't take any kind of
No, it's
pharmaceuticals or
important.
any psych meds or anything. So yeah, we probably all need some sort of psych meds or some sort of medicine. So it is my medicine. But no, seeing him compete at Bandera and finish the 100K, it's because it's a whole different thing. Like for me, running a 50K is like it's an accomplishment, but it's not. I mean, 100K is like a vision quest. So yeah, there's
I
definitely,
like that.
yeah, I mean, we
That
really
makes
push our bodies
sense.
to the edge. And I think that's one of the things that Tejas Trails is really good at is putting up these races so that people can really see where that edge is, really push themselves. I heard Chris McWater say that before, to give people an opportunity to really find, the other side of themselves.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what was it? David Goggins said, most of the time we got about 40% more when our body says stop, or when our brain says stop, our body can go like 40% longer. I don't
Yeah.
know how they quantify that number, but it's true. So yeah, to your question, definitely. I think I just decided now since since
Oh,
we're on
I just
camera to
pushed
say,
you into it, didn't
yep,
I?
yeah, 100K is coming.
Yay. Do you know which
100K is
one
coming.
now?
Gosh, I don't. There's my favorite races that are coming up. I absolutely love Camp Eagle. J&J is coming up
I
in
love you.
March.
Well, you like those rocks, don't you?
Oh, I do. I do. I like the challenge. I mean, it's something about a trail being so challenged that you have to have absolute focus.
Oh,
I'm in the present moment.
absolutely.
I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I mean, that's the epitome of
Stay
mindfulness right
present.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It's a
And
great
nothing.
place. Beautiful.
Yeah, it
No, I
is
love it.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Nothing heals my body like sleep, but nothing really truly heals my mind like present time awareness. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. So that J&J, that might be a little bit close
Yeah.
to training for 100K, but I'm not trying to get out there and kill it. I just want to finish it. You know,
Well, you
uh,
could try, and who knows, but
there is no try,
there is
do
no
or
try.
do
Or
not.
you could do
Yeah,
Pandora's. You could do the double marathon.
I
Pandora.
love Pandora's. That's another
Oh
one of my
God, see,
favorites was
you love all
Pandora's.
the races I hate. I know.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
I
where I
think
met you was Pandora's a couple of years
it
ago.
was. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Pandora's.
because
Yep.
I met you through Kimberly. I remember, knowing you through
Hmm.
Kimberly, and then I ran into you, yeah, at Penn because I was volunteering, and yeah, so, it's so funny. But well, yeah, there's always that. Well, it's probably still a little close for that one too. But hey, you never know. Um, if you want to do a 50 miler, of course you like that challenging stuff. So maybe Cactus Rose.
Cactus Rose would be cool. I love
That would be a
Bandera.
good stepping stone, I think. And then you can maybe do
Yeah.
Bandera following January or whatever. So listen to me.
Man,
I'm planning your
yeah.
life.
Well, I'm looking over across the room and I see my finisher medals and like
Yeah,
all the races
mine
that
are.
I've won. And I can see a finisher medal that looks like a belt buckle.
Oh
It looks like a
yeah,
Bandera
that's
belt
what you
buckle.
need
You
that
don't
in
get
your
the
life.
buckle
Yeah.
unless you do the 100. Yeah. It
I
might be
know. I've
time for a
never gotten
bubble.
one. I know. That would be so cool.
Thank you for planting that seed, because it was
I'm
just planted,
happy.
it's been planted
That
before.
made my
Yeah. Yeah.
day.
So when I do my 100K, we're gonna remember this moment. So I'll reach
Oh,
out to
and
you and say,
we'll
Donna.
talk after you do it. Yeah, and you can
Yeah,
blame
cool.
me.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm
Well,
excited. Yeah, I'm all
yeah,
giddy
no,
now, as
definitely.
if I wasn't giddy before.
Well, I probably need to go because I think I mentioned earlier I've got the washing repair guys. I don't know if you've been following the
Oh
site
boy,
on Facebook at all, but yeah, my washer
not much.
my please don't worry. Not everyone hangs on every
Yeah.
word I say, but yeah, last week I've lived in this house. Okay, I bought this house, so he's on his way. Okay, good. So I got a little bit of time. That's good. Yeah, so I bought this house 5.5 years ago. It was built in 1931. Donna's first house. And the washer dryer has to be kept outside because that's where the hookups are. And
Yeah.
so I have a shed that I keep my washer dryer in. I had it built when I bought the house. And I bought my washer dryer. This is such an adulting thing. But I mean, I never thought I'd ever own a house. It's like it's still terrifying to me. But anyway, um, I yeah, but last week, I don't know if it was the weather or what, but all of a sudden I was like, washing clothes like always. And sometimes I will just leave my clothes overnight, if it's like if it gets really dark because, I don't want to go outside and deal with it. But
Right.
like, so I come out the next morning and the water's still running. I'm like, holy
Oh,
crap,
this is not
what
good.
happened? And
Yeah.
I unplugged it. The water still kept running. And so I had to turn the
Yeah,
water.
it does that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so these guys came over a couple of days ago and they're like, you need a new motherboard.
Motherboard.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. It's like $225, which
Ouch.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Well, compared to what I thought it was going to be, it's not that bad. But anyway, that came this morning. And yeah, I paid for it, ordered it. And so these guys are on their way to install it. And
Nice.
hopefully we'll be having a very exciting Saturday night doing laundry.
Oh boy. Sounds like fun. Well,
I
Donna, I want to thank you so
don't
much
know.
for
Thank
reaching out to me. And
you.
this has really
This
been
is
a
like one of my
pleasure just
favorite
sharing with you.
interviews. This
Oh, thank you.
this is
You
really
honored me with
fun. I
that.
mean,
And
I felt like I could ask you things and not feel embarrassed, because sometimes
yeah.
like I talked to, Kenneth,
Hmm.
Anderlich.
Yeah.
I kind of regret not pressing on him a little bit more about his past and stuff, but I was just kind of
Yep.
like, but I don't really, I mean, this is like the first time I ever met him, and so like I've seen you enough that I feel like I kind of, I'm familiar
Hmm.
with, and so that felt better. So
Well, thank you for asking those questions too. Thank you for feeling comfortable enough to
pleasure.
ask those
And
questions
thank you
and getting
for
to know me. Yeah. Trusting me.
considering that, I'm going to be looking for you at Cactus Rose,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and
We'll
then
see.
Pandora. So maybe I'll crew for you if you need somebody.
Oh, I see a crew in the works for
I'm
sure. I
I'm
may hold
happy
you
to
to
do
that.
it because I'm not going to be out there running it. I've tried it. I've my
Yeah.
first 50 miler I tried. I tried Cactus Rose. It was probably like 2015. I slid down, not to scare you. I slid down, God, what's that one called? Oh my God, Lucky Peak. Not so
Oh
lucky.
yeah, Lucky Peak. Yeah. Yeah, not
Yeah,
so Lucky
there was
Peak. They
just
should
all
call
that
it
weird Scrabble rock, and it was
the
wet and
street.
dark,
Yeah.
and it was like 5:30 in the morning, and I busted open, like I busted open a flap on my knee, and I had to go to the
Oh,
hospital to get stitches, and of course DNF that race.
yeah.
But on the good hand, on the other side, I did the 50 miler at Wild Hair the following month, which is actually that's
Nice.
my kind of course. I don't know if you've ever run out there, but it's on a
Yeah, I
ranch.
have not.
It's a
Yeah.
mountain
Yeah,
biking
yeah.
course. It's yeah, you'd be like,
I like those. I love comfort.
"Oh,
Yeah.
you need
Yeah.
to try
Well,
that race."
Pandora's is also mountain biking, sort of.
Yeah, but
Up,
that's also like being on the moon. Those domes,
sort of.
rock domes,
I love that
you
terrain. I just
catch
love
your
that terrain.
toes on all those rocks. Oh my God, I've done it
Yeah.
before.
Not
I
careful.
I tried a 60K, one of the Captain Carl's
Hmm.
out there a few years ago.
Pedernales.
No, it was a yeah, no, it
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
Pedernales. How's the one called? Reveille. Yeah.
Yeah. Reveille Peak. That's
Reveille,
where
yeah,
Pandora's is.
Reveille
Yeah.
Peak, yeah, because they have Pandora's and Reveille. But anyway, I was
Mhm.
trying the 60K night race at Reveille, and I was wearing these brand new, which you should never do anyway before race anything new. But these Hoka, the first version of Speed Goat, and they had
Mhm.
that Vibram sole.
Mhm.
Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but anyway, okay, and they were about a size and a half too big, but I was such an idiot. I was like, I've got to have these. These are magical shoes. And so I
Mhm.
get out there, and it was like being propelled like a rocket. I would hit a rock, I'd be up and then I
Boing. Yep.
crash. Yeah. And I mean, I did this for
Yeah,
like,
they got it.
what, 12 miles or whatever. And it took me 4 hours. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to finish this race, if if I'm going this slow on the first loop. So I just dropped.
Yeah,
But yeah, that place is kind of, yeah, it's like being on the moon, but it's beautiful. It's like
yeah,
Camp
it
Eagle.
is
It's beautiful. But I do
gorgeous. Yeah.
recommend Wild Hair. I always recommend that one to everybody because
All right.
it's fun because it's on a ranch and you run your loops through a horse barn, which I think is really cool.
Like
And
that.
and this year I saw a cow being born.
Oh, not
It
something
was
you
the
see every day on the
wildest.
trail.
I was working the finish line. I just did the 10K, but I was working the finish line and I saw a lot of calves out there, which I'd never seen. I've been going to this race since like 2012, or doing it. And everybody was like staring at this cow sitting in the pasture. And they're like,
Oh,
she's giving birth. And I'm like, what? You could see this little head kind of coming out. And I'm like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, after, kind of doing the thing
the
for a little,
dance.
she
Yeah,
stands up and she just sort of shook the baby out of her.
yeah, yeah. They know. They come
And
hardwired from the
after
factory.
cleaning it for about a half hour, the baby's up and walking around. It was,
Very important. That process is very
yeah. And then
important
there
for
was a
cows. Yeah.
marriage proposal out there too at the finish line. It was a wild race. It was just,
Oh, that sounds like wild. Yeah.
it's
Sounds
really
like a
fun.
wild hair.
Yeah, hey, yeah,
Well,
no,
hey,
I just like the vibe of that one. It's kind of a sleeper race, just in terms of
uh-huh.
it's not like one of the bigs, but I like it because I don't know, it's doable, I guess, for me. So
Mhm.
anyway,
Cool,
so all
cool.
right, I'm gonna shut up now.
Hey, it's a
Just
pleasure talking to you. Before you
you
go, I want to give
too.
you a
Yes.
blessing. Yeah,
Thank you.
I just want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to like wish you a blessing to be at ease and to be well and to be free from suffering. Mhm.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Same to you. All right, hang on. I'm
yeah.
gonna
Thank you.
stop recording.